Okay, now we'll start the class. Can you see me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
you can see
sir.
slide is also visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, then we'll start. Okay, okay. We're discussing about the transcription, and in our last class, we discussed transcription in case of prokaryotes. We started transcription by looking at the similarities between transcription and replication. And among the similarities, we discussed that both the replication and the transcription takes place from 5' to 3' direction in a newly synthesizing strand. And also, we also discussed about the differences between transcription and replication. And among the differences, we find that in the case of replication, both the strands were acting as the template strand. But in the case of transcription, only one of the strand was acting as a template strand, and the other strand was called the coding strand. Actually, coding strand was the other strand which was not taking part in not taking part, but we are not talking about that is known as the coding strand. The coding because the RNA thus formed will have the similar sequence as that of coding strands, with the exception of uracil in place of thymidine. And also we talked about this transcription process that is selective, and a whole strand of DNA is not transcribed at once. And we also talk about the formation of primary transcript, and there are several modifications after the formation of primary transcript. And in the case of modification, there are more of the complex modification in case of eukaryotic case. However, modifications are also present in prokaryotic case. Modification in extensive in the case of eukaryotic mRNA. However, though to a little extent, modification is there in ribosomal RNA and transfer RNA in prokaryotes too. And after this, we discussed about RNA polymerase. Yes, RNA polymerase in the case of prokaryotes. RNA polymerase, only one RNA polymerase in prokaryotes forms mRNA, tRNA, or ribosomal RNA. But in the case of eukaryotes, there are different RNA polymerases. And in the case of prokaryotic mRNA polymerase, we also talked about the holoenzyme and also the core enzyme, because there was sigma factor, and after that sigma factor recognizes, it leaves, and only the RNA polymerase, core RNA polymerase, will make the new strand. That is alpha to alpha, beta prime. That portion was known as the core enzyme. That means in RNA polymerase of prokaryotic, we said that one RNA polymerase of prokaryotic will form different types of RNA, and that RNA consists of core enzyme part, and the whole is known as the holoenzyme. And core enzyme is without the sigma factor, which is helpful in the recognition of the promoter region. We have talked about the promoter sequences, and that is what was the promoter sequences we studied? Promoter sequences, okay, Tata box, also known as the Pribno box, and the next was minus 35 sequence, two types of promoter sequences. And then we are coming to the eukaryotic case, and later we have already discussed too. Eukaryotic RNA polymerases. We have discussed three types of eukaryotic RNA polymerases: RNA polymerase type 1, type 2, and type 3. And RNA polymerase type 2 is the polymerase which forms the messenger RNA. We'll study in little detail about this RNA polymerase second. RNA polymerase second is the central to eukaryotic gene expression and has been studied also, and it consists of many subunits. RNA polymerase second requires an array of other proteins called transcription factors in order to form an active transcription complex. In the case of prokaryotic case, prokaryotic RNA polymerase, which has only one type of RNA polymerase, that RNA polymerase, after binding with the promoter sequences, that means the consensus sequences in the promoter region, that was the Prignobox and the -35 sequence, after binding there, it would start making the RNA chain. But the process is complex in case of eukaryotic case. That means not only the RNA polymerase binding with those consensus sequences will start the transcription process, but several transcription factors also will play a role. And in that we also discussed about amanitin, that is the fungal toxin. This Amanita phthalates produces a toxin known as the fungal toxin or alpha amanitin. This is toxin to us because it is the inhibitor of RNA polymerase, mainly RNA polymerase second. RNA polymerase second. Okay. About the consensus sequences in the promoter region of eukaryotic DNA, we said that there were three different types of consensus sequences. One is the Tata box, next one is the cat box, and other one is the GC box. In case of prokaryotes, we have seen two types of consensus sequences were there. One, the Tata box, which is known as the Prigno box in case of prokaryotic case, and the other was the -35 sequence. But here there are three consensus sequences, and Tata box in this case is known as the Huggins box. Tata box is known as the Huggins box. Next one is the cat box and the GC box. Okay. The concept of enhancers is there only in case of the eukaryotic case. We had not talked about the enhancers in case of prokaryotic case. These enhancers are the elements. These are the sequences located in a variety of regions of the gene. These are actually the sequences which can be located near to the sequence of our interest, that is the structural gene, or can even be the far from that. And this, after binding with the enhancers, it increases the rate of transcription. Okay, this is the simple representation. This is the start site. As you can see, this is the core promoter or Tata box. These three all are the consensus sequences in the promoter region: Tata box, cat box, and GC box. Sorry, this is the start point of transcription. Okay, and there may be the introns as well as exons. We'll see later on in detail about this. Now this is the DNA sequence, or let's suppose this is the gene, and this is the promoter region of the gene. And in the promoter region of the gene, there are three consensus sequences: Tata box, GC box, and the cat box. In case of prokaryotics, we have seen that once the polymerase would come and bind to this promoter region, it would initiate transcription. But in the case of eukaryotic, it is more complex. Not directly the polymerase comes and binds to these consensus sequences, but there are a sequence of let's say sequence of bindings. First of all, some proteins will come and bind, and later on some proteins will come and bind, and this will initiate the binding of polymerase second, and after the polymerase second binds, and only the transcription will start. Now this is to show the importance of enhancer. This enhancer are actually the sequences in the DNA which can be the close to this promoter, or they can even be very far away from that. But with proper folding, they will also interact during the formation of pre-initiation complex. This promoter region we have seen, and different binding factors, just like CTF1. This is cat box transcription factor. Cat box transcription factor. We have seen the cat box here, isn't it? Here, cat box transcription factor. This is specificity protein 1, and this is about the transcription factor secondary. Different types of transcription factor we'll talk about. And this is cat box transcription factor, and this is specificity protein. That means in the promoter region, several types of protein will bind, and after these proteins bind there, the binding will also be enhanced by enhancer binding transcription factor. That means this is the enhancer in a far region. It can be the near region also. In very rare cases, it can be in the same structural gene too. These enhancer sequences. These enhancer sequences, along with the help of enhancer binding transcription proteins, will bind to these factors, and they will form the pre-initiation complex. Let's see there. DNA bending can cause an enhancer element that is far from the promoter in the linear DNA molecule to interact with the transcription initiation complex, as you have seen. Okay, so we'll look into some transcription factor. Actually, there are some transcription factors which form the pre-initiation complex. If we could study the sequence of this transcription factor, it would be best. But if we could not remember all the transcription factor, simply you can say several transcription factor will come and join to form a pre-initiation complex. That will also work to around 60 to 70% marks, isn't it? For that will also work. Now transcription factors. RNA polymerase second does not bind to the promoter sequence directly, because in the case of prokaryotic case, polymerase would come and directly bind. But here RNA polymerase second associates with 6 transcription factors. Different transcription factor, as you can see. Here you can see the name second after every transcription factor, because we are talking about the RNA polymerase second, which would produce the mRNA. Let's say second, everywhere it is written. I will not read this second every time. Okay, this transcription factor A, transcription factor B, transcription factor D, E, F, and S. They have the roles in the formation of pre-initiation complex. Let's see their sequences. This is the Tata binding protein of transcription factor second D. Second, everywhere it will be second. Tata binding proteins of transcription factor D binds to the Tata box, and after the, that means D also, it binds through the Tata binding protein fraction of transcription factor D, and now after this, transcription factor A and B will bind to this, and after that transcription factor F along with the RNA polymerase binds to the earlier formed complex. Then comes transcription factor E, which will come and bind there, and finally transcription factor H will come, and this will complete the formation of pre-initiation complex. Let's see next. Talking about the pre-initiation complex, as you can see, there is the Tata box, and in that Tata box binding protein of transcription factor second D will come and bind to the Tata box. After that comes, now the transcription factor A will come, because second everywhere it will be second. Transcription factor A will come, and after that transcription factor B will come, and then only after that RNA polymerase will come along with transcription factors F, because in case of prokaryotic case, we have said that in the promoter sequence will be directly recognized by the polymerases, and they will initiate the process. But here the thing is more complex. First of all, different transcription factors would come and bind. Only then the RNA polymerase will come. Okay. Then transcription factor second E will come, and after second E, again transcription factor second H will come. By this, it leads to the formation of pre-initiation complex, and after the formation of pre-initiation complex, this transcription factor second H, after it binds, there would be the unwinding of this helix, unwinding of this double helix, and also there will be the phosphorylation as the C-terminal domain. We'll see. After this all binds, this is the pre-initiation complex. After pre-initiation complex is formed, now there will be the unwinding of this DNA. That means this DNA will melt. Unwinding of this DNA at this point. Also, there will be the phosphorylation of RNA polymerase. There will be the phosphorylation of RNA polymerase. This transcription factor second H, that is transcription factor H, is a protein kinase activity to phosphorylase C-terminal domain of RNA polymerase second. Sorry. After it phosphorylates, only the RNA polymerase can move toward the downstream, starting the elongation phase. Most of the transcription factors fall off from pre-initiation complex during the elongation phase. Now all of the factors came and they create a favorable environment for the RNA polymerase second to initiate its activity. And phosphorylation is also made by transcription factor second H. And after that, most of the transcription factor, except transcription factor second F, will leave the pre-initiation complex, and only the polymerase will move forward on mRNA. Okay, now let's see. This is the data box, and here in this region, every factors will come and join, including the RNA polymerase. Everything will come and join. Okay, that is the RNA polymerase. It will come. Okay, this is to give the importance of C-terminal domain of RNA polymerase. That C-terminal domain of RNA polymerase will be phosphorylated. As we have seen, it will be phosphorylated by transcription factor second S, and after it is phosphorylated, now all the other factors except transcription factor F will leave this RNA polymerase, and only that RNA polymerase along with transcription factor second F, it will move forward to make the RNA strand. Now comes the elongation. Transcription factor second F remains associated with the RNA polymerase second throughout the elongation. The activity of RNA polymerase second is greatly enhanced by the proteins called. There are many elongation factors which we are omitting here, because if we go to all the elongation factors also, it will be very difficult for us. Okay, elongation. In the process of elongation also, there are several proteins acting which are known as the elongation factors. And during the process of elongation, after the formation of pre-initiation complex, in the initiation complex, now other transcription factors will leave the polymerase complex, and only transcription factor second F will accompany this RNA polymerase second for the synthesis of RNA strand, which is enhanced by several proteins known as the elongation factors. Now next comes the termination, and in the case of termination, we have said the row dependent termination and row independent termination. That was the case of prokaryotic transcription, but now here we are talking about the termination in case of eukaryotic case. When the RNA polymerase transcribes the terminal region of the DNA, the polymerase releases mRNA. The termination sequence is AATA followed by GT repeats. Now, if you remember about this, only one protein, it will be enough. CPSP protein helps in the process. This is cleavage and polyadenylation specificity factor. That means we are talking about the termination in case of eukaryotic case. Actually, the termination in eukaryotic case is much more complex, but we have to remember that there are the proteins known as the cleavage proteins, and also the making the poly A tail proteins. They are known as the cleavage and polyadenylation specificity factors. These factors will help in the termination process. We'll talk about post-transcriptional modification of mRNA later on, but here the polyadenylation activity has come. Then we have to mention that during the process of synthesizing RNA from mRNA from the DNA itself, after about 25 to 30 nucleotides are added. At the same time, 5' end of the newly formed RNA gets to be modified with the formation of the cap. We will see how the cap is formed. And now here at the last, there will be a tail, adding a poly A tail at the 3'. It goes simultaneously, capping and tailing. Now we'll discuss about the post-transcriptional modifications. Prokaryotic mRNA is generally identical to its primary transcript, but eukaryotic mRNA is extensively modified. And we see that in the case of prokaryotic, there is no nuclear membrane, and also the mRNA is similar to the mRNA which is produced is like the mature one. That means there are not much modification. That's why translation can occur immediately. Prokaryotic mRNA is generally identical to its primary transcript, but eukaryotic mRNA is extensively modified. However, the primary transcript of both prokaryotic and eukaryotic tRNA and rRNA are post-transcriptionally modified by cleavage of the original transcript by nucleases. That means there are certain types of post-transcriptional modification we'll see. Actually, post-transcriptional modification is more important in case of eukaryotic case. We have said that if you compare the mRNA of eukaryotic and prokaryotic mRNA is uh, that means the primarily which is primarily formed similar to primary transcript uh, is like the matured one. That means no more modification is required. But in the case of eukaryotic case, much modification is required, and the modifications also occur in case of tRNA and mRNA in both the cases. The nascent RNA, also known as primary transcript, needs to be modified to become functional mRNA, tRNA, and ribosomal RNA. This modification is especially critical to eukaryotic system. Okay, and the type of modifications are the addition of 5' cap, polyadenylation, RNA splicing, and RNA editing. If you talk about RNA, if you talk about post-transcriptional modification, we have to mention about addition of 5' cap, formation of poly A tail, RNA splicing, and RNA editing. Sorry, addition of 5' cap. This that means we will add a cap at the 5' end. That means 5' end in the one end which started the synthesis, and 3' end is the last end. And after about the formation of short chain, this addition of cap immediately occurs. Addition of 5' cap. This facilitates the binding of ribosome to 5' end of mRNA. That means this addition of 5' cap helps in the recognition of that mRNA to the ribosome once it goes to the cytoplasm for protein synthesis. And also it increases the mRNA stability and enhances RNA splicing, which will occur later on. Addition of 5' cap facilitates the binding of that RNA with the ribosome once it goes to the cytoplasm, increases the mRNA stability, and enhances the RNA splicing. This is the other method of modification. 3' cleavage and addition of poly A tail. This increases this both increases the stability of mRNA. Addition of 5' cap or the 3' A tail or 3' A tail, and this also facilitates binding of ribosome to mRNA. That means their main aim is to facilitate the binding with the ribosomes and increase the stability. And now the next modification is RNA splicing, and this splicing process removes the non-coding introns from the pre-mRNA, facilitates the export to mRNA to the cytoplasm, allows for multiple proteins to be produced through alternative splicing. We'll also see with the help of the examples. This RNA splicing actually means in simple, it is about the removing of the introns, that is the intervening sequences, which are actually the non-coding sequences in between, and the process is known as RNA splicing. And sometimes it also allows for multiple proteins to be produced through the alternative splicing of the product of the same gene. And again, there is another one known as the RNA editing. This alters the nucleotide sequence of EMR. This all we have discussed. Okay, now modification of heteronucleus RNA, heteronuclear RNA or heterogeneous nuclear RNA, both we can call it. Primary transcript of mRNA are called as heteronuclear RNA or heterogeneous nuclear RNA. These heterogeneous nuclear RNA are larger than matured mRNA by many folds in the case of eukaryotic. In prokaryotic case, it's not like that. That we have already discussed. Now the modifications include capping at the 5' end, tailing at the 3' end, mRNA splicing, and mRNA editing. And we'll discuss about all these processes one by one. Now, now pre-RNA maturation. This is just to show you in brief However, one by one step will go later on. Now these are the start signals that are the signals in the promoter region. Here is the intron, axon, and here are the stop signal. Here is the poly A site, and there is the formation of 5' cap, 3' polyadenylation of that RNA, and later on the introns are excised and removed, and only the functional part is the remaining one, which gives to the rise of protein. We'll come later on also about this. Okay, capping at the 5' end. This capping at the 5' end, at this 5' end, is capping is done with the help of 7-methyl guanosine triphosphate. That means at this we are talking about the part of mRNA at the 5' end, and at that 5' end it is protected by binding with 7-methyl guanosine triphosphate. 7-methyl guanosine triphosphate. This is the 5' end of messenger RNA, and this 5' end of messenger RNA is protected by binding with 7-methyl guanosine triphosphate. 7-methyl guanosine, as you can see, this is the 7-methyl guanosine triphosphate, and sometimes the bases can also be methylated. The 5' cap structure is found on heterogeneous nuclear RNA2. The capping process occurs in nuclei. That means why it is also found in heterogeneous nuclear RNA, because even before the synthesis of mRNA is completed, this capping structure is already capping process is already done. That means right about 20 to 25 nucleotides are added in that new RNA. This 5 capping structure will start itself. The cap structure of mRNA will be recognized by the cap protein binding protein required for translocation, and this is the function after it goes to the cytoplasm and in the ribosomes. The cap structure of mRNA will be recognized by cap binding protein present in the ribosomal RNA. The capping occurs prior to splicing. Of course, the capping occurs prior to splicing, and also the tailing will also occur prior to splicing. Splicing is the process which will occur later on. Now, poly A tail, that means the adding of A tail, adenosine units at the last. Now there will be the cleavage of around 20 to 35 nucleotides downstream from this terminal endings signal sequences, and this will be hydrolyzed, and after they are hydrolyzed, poly A tail will be added with the help of poly A polymerase at the 3' end. That means at the 5' end capping was there, and at the 3' end there will be tailing of poly A tail. That is adenosine monophosphate will be bind in hundreds. Okay. Large number of eukaryotic mRNA poses an adenine nucleotide chain at the 3' end. Poly A tail is added to stabilize mRNA, and it gets reduced as the mRNA enters the cytosol. The tailing process occurs prior to splicing. Of course, first of all, capping will occur. Now the tailing will occur. Then splicing is the process which will occur later on. The process takes place in the nuclei. This process takes place in the nuclei, of course. Now other one is the splicing. The matured mRNAs are much shorter than the DNA templates. This is due to the splicing. Okay, let's see the split gene. The structural genes are composed of coding and non-coding regions. The structural genes are composed of coding and non-coding regions. That's why it is known as the split gene. As you see this gene sequence here, A, B, C, D, E, F, G are the example of non-coding sequences. Only the coding sequences, this much 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are the coding sequences. This is the recognition sequence. That means there can be the coding sequence as well as the non-coding sequence. This non-coding sequence are known as the introns or the intervening sequence, which will be removed later on in the process known as splicing. Now, splicing of heteronuclear RNA, heterogeneous nuclear RNA, that is also known as the pre-mRNA. Introns or intervening sequences are the RNA sequences which do not code for proteins. introns usually okay, this is the sequence from which they will start. It is not that important that you have to keep it at the tip of your tongue. But RNA splicing involves the removal of introns from is carried out by a nuclear complexes. This is the complex of 80 different types of proteins, which is known as the spliceosomes. These spliceosomes carry out the process of splicing. Splicing means splicing that heteronuclear RNA or that into introns and exons, and that introns or the intervening sequences will be removed and all the exons will be combined. Okay, let's see. This is the good example of mRNA splicing. As you can see, this is one gene. It consists of several coding and, and non-coding regions. This green regions are coding regions, whereas these yellow regions are the non-coding regions. Now, by the process of splicing, all these non-coding regions or the introns or the intervening sequences are removed, and only that exons are joined, and it gives rise to a very small matured RNA. Let's see the example of this albumin gene. It consists of 7,700 base pair originally, but after the removal of this introns or the intervening sequences, and the mature RNA only contains less than 2,000 base sequences, less than 2,000. That is 1,872 base sequences. This is about the mRNA splicing. Now we'll go to mRNA editing. This mRNA editing takes place at the transcription level. Now, one gene is responsible for more than one protein. Due to the process of this, editing, one gene can form multiple proteins. How it can form the multiple proteins? By one gene, by the process of mRNA editing, we'll see here. This significance, gene sequences after post-transcriptional modification can be of multiple purpose differentiation. We'll see the different pathway of ApoB. ApoB gene. Human ApoG gene actually consists for apolipoproteins, and here we are talking about the ApoB gene, and this heteronuclear RNA. This consists of this many base sequences. But in the case of liver, full apolipoprotein B is produced, which size is around 500 kilodalton. Whereas in the case of intestine, what happens is that in the process we're talking about in the process of mRNA editing, what happens is that the sequence CAA gets edited to UAA. That means this UAA, we know that this is the stop signal. Now it will stop at that point, and as it starts at that point, only about 48% of that that mRNA will be able to give rise to protein, and it gives a protein known as apolipoprotein B. This is also apolipoprotein B. This is also apolipoprotein B. But here, during the process of edition, what happens is CAA gets edited to UAA, and that means C happens as U. And in this process, what happens is this nonsense codon or the step codons forms, and this stops the process of translation. And at that point, the protein synthesis will stop. And in the this is the case of the intestinal cells, where only 48% of that sequences will be there. That's why it is known as ApoB48. Whereas the other ApoB100, which is made by the liver, this about ApoB100 and ApoB48 we have to study in lipoprotein metabolism. This ApoB48 is specific to VLDL. ApoB48 is specific to chylomicrons, which is formed in the intestine, whereas this ApoB100 is specific to VLDL, which is formed in the liver. Okay, we're talking about the RNA editing, and due to the process of this editing, different types of protein can be formed. As we have seen, human ApoB gene, the transcription of human ApoB gene will give rise to heteronuclear RNA of this much sequences. But due to the process of editing, somewhere in between, CAA is transformed to UAA, which is the stop signal. That means at that point the protein formation will stop, and till that point only about 48% of that whole mRNA is translated. That's why this is known as ApoB48. This is specific for the intestinal cells, whereas the whole sequence will be translated without this place, without the editing causing this alteration in the case of liver, and it gives rise to ApoB100 protein. This ApoB100 protein we have to study. This is in the case of VLDL, also in LDL, of course, when it is in the VLDL. Now this ApoB48 is specific for chylomicron. It is synthesized in the intestine. This is in the liver, specific for VLDL. This RNA editing. Okay, sorry. Eukaryotic mRNA after modifications. Okay, this is the structure of eukaryotic mRNA. That means the representation of eukaryotic mRNA after modifications. You can see actually it is giving the picture. It only gives the importance of the cap and the tail, capping at the 5' end and tailing at the 3' end, capping with the help of 7-methyl guanosine triphosphate, and tailing with the help of poly A tail. There can be some untranslated region, the coding region, untranslated region. Okay, but eukaryotic mRNA, when you show the structure of eukaryotic mRNA, you have to show the cap as well as the tail. The cap is 7-methyl guanosine triphosphate, tail is poly adenylation. Okay, now we have come to the modification of tRNA. Actually, the modification, when you talk about the post-transcriptional modification, we have to talk much about the post-transcriptional modification of mRNA, which is critical to eukaryotes. And we talk about 5' capping, 3' tailing, and splicing and editing. That's the important ones. And in our next class, we'll briefly talk about the modifications in case of transfer RNA and also in case of ribosomal RNA. And after this, we'll move to translation, that is the synthesis of protein. If I continue this modification also, I'll be able to finish, but I think it will be difficult for you. We have little slides. This will leave for the next week. Okay, if you have any questions, please unmute your mic and just ask the questions. Please don't hesitate to ask the question. Actually, in second year student, they have created a pool for the attendance, and they have maintained the attendance register. But you are not advised to do so. You don't have class representatives.
No, sir, no net.
Till now, you are not advised for doing or creating a pool of attendance.
No, sir.
And then I will repeat from here. Okay, but try to ask some questions. Okay. No questions at all? Have you written in chat box any questions? No. Only present and roll numbers are there. Okay? Nothing else. Okay, if you don't have question, this much for today. In the next time, come reading whatever I have discussed till now, and also you can look the translation process also, which we'll be explaining next time.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.